Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Two of a Kind Sports, the show where passion meets the game. I'm your co host, Denise,
And I'm D Nice.
and today we're going to be diving into week 4 with a full recap of the Washington Commanders at the Atlanta Falcons.
Let's
You don't
go.
want to miss this breakdown. But before we do that, please do us a favor like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to smash the bell icon and select all. That way, you'll never miss when we go live or when we drop a brand new video. So, D Nice,
Yes,
let's go to
Denise.
Atlanta, darling. Let's go to the dirty, dirty South.
And definitely it was dirty, dirty, dirty to us.
Okay, look, when the game started,
Hmm
I was hopeful because we thought the Falcons lost the ball. And I was like, okay, we're being aggressive. But then they regained
hmm
possession. And then they kicked a field goal. They put the 3 points on the board first.
hmm
On our first drive, we Commanders went 3-and-out. That did not bode well for us because it got back to the thing that you and I have been complaining about, and I'm adding you to it. I mean, I'm always the one complaining, but I'm adding you to it. The thing we've been complaining about the most is the
hmm
lack of consistency.
Consistency, that key word again, we've been saying for the last couple of weeks. Consistency.
And when we fell behind
hmm
and started off going 3-and-out, where we couldn't even sustain a drive,
Right.
that just set a very negative tone for me. So, you know, I did not like that.
hmm
But we did compete. So I'm not going to go doom and gloom the whole way through.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
our offense did show up.
hmm
They did put points on the board. And I guess, Mr. Matt Gay,
That's your buddy.
he has not missed since I complained about him and tried to fire him.
hmm
So Mr. Gay hit all the field goals. So I cannot
Right.
complain about Matt Gay. And our special teams really did pose a threat on kickoff and punt returns. They
hmm
got us good field position. They got us in good field position. So I was pleased about that. I think the most glaring lapses happened on our defense.
Right. Well, that like for me, for far as the first quarter, what really bothered me with the defense is that we could not stop Bijan Robinson. He was killing us. He was slashing us left and right. Um, I mean, him and Penix was just they had some type of chemistry. Now, the thing that kind of baffles me is like just like in years past when we were the other name, um, teams always were bad, and then when they play us, we help them to get right. So in this situation, we helped the Atlanta Falcons get right again because the prior week against the Carolina Panthers, they beat them 30-0, which is a
Yeah, they were
divisional
shut
matchup.
out.
They were shut out. It is a division matchup. However, there was no way that we should not have been, um, once again, lack of energy and inconsistent.
And we
So
lack the fundamentals as well. Looking
absolutely,
at our defense,
a
the
lot of missed
tackles
tackles.
were broken. I mean,
Yes.
even Penix was getting through. It's like, look, our defense was not really putting pressure on him. They were not aggressive.
Nope.
They weren't messing up his flow. I mean, it was just and look, not only did Bijan Robinson do a number on us,
hmm
let's not forget Mr. Drake London.
Drake London and Cal Pitts.
London is calling, and let me tell you, the Falcons answered because he had his way with us as well,
Yes, I agree.
and we
I
had
agree.
no answer. We couldn't stop their ground game, and Penix was able to land some big ones in the air. So our defense did not do enough to stop the Atlanta Falcons from getting into the end zone more than our good offense got
Right.
into the end zone. So there was an imbalance there, you know.
Right. Yeah. So as you alluded to, just like we couldn't stop Drake London, that was one of the key passes that Penix threw a touchdown to him in the first quarter that made it 10 to nothing. Um, Once again, another week. Our team has kind of been like a yo-yo. We're good. We're high one week. We're down one week. High, down. The thing that we have to, I don't just blame that on the players. I even see inconsistencies in play calling. As
Yes.
I told you before, I have not seen DQ. I have not seen Cliff Kingsbury or Joe Witt, for that matter, this year at all, be aggressive.
Right.
Now I don't know if that's because we're not in the flow of the game. Usually it's like we have an up tempo type offense, and maybe hopefully this week when Jaden does come back, that we can get some type of tempo going. But the one thing we have been doing very well is running the ball, and it seems like we get away from running the ball.
Yes.
And that's something that kind of like I don't understand. I'm like you decided that you wanted to go to a 4-back committee, okay? You got rid of I was about to call him B John, but you got rid of Brian Robinson.
Brian.
You got rid of him to do this 4-back system, which is working. Okay, I don't know. Sometimes I understand we want to spread the ball around, but we look too predictable. Just like as I told you in our production meeting, the first play of the game, Debo, first offensive series, should I say, Debo on a jet sweep, Atlanta Falcons was waiting right there for it.
Yeah.
So now teams are going to always start playing us more in the zone because they don't want to play as man because then our quarterbacks we have can actually take off. But if they're going to give us everything underneath, Cliff Kingsbury needs to figure out a way for us to exploit. Okay, you want to give us the underneath stuff? We're going to eat it up until you stop it. So first quarter it was really a tone setter. I did not like how we came out. We allowed ourselves to get behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. And but you know what? I was kind of encouraged in the first quarter when Rodriguez,
Right.
C-Rock,
Mm-hmm.
when he ran for 49 yards. I thought that was a good play,
Oh
you know.
that was the second offensive series. Yeah, when Rodriguez
Yeah.
ran the 49-yard run, that was a great run. Yes.
I thought that was good, and I thought, okay, so we will be able to compete because we've got our ground game going, you know. But then, okay, it seemed like in this game, as soon as we got something good going,
Mm-hmm.
I heard referee whistles, and I don't like those referee whistles, and I don't like
Yeah.
to see on this TV screen that yellow flag.
Right.
So there's a flag on the play. Every time we had something good going, our team had mental lapses where we got too many penalties and it cost us too many yards.
I agree.
So, the first quarter kind of told a story, but we did. Thank you, Luke McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
We did get a touchdown. We did get into the end zone.
Yes, we did with
So
Luke, our boy
yeah,
Luke,
Luke
as
McCaffrey.
the fans like to say, Luke.
Luke. So
Yes.
yes, he got into the end zone. So we were 7-10 in the
Yes.
first quarter. So I said, okay, we're competing, and Matt was not messing up. Matt came into this game,
Uh huh.
you know, strong, and he was looking good. So I wasn't worried in this game about him missing field goals or extra points because he was good in the last game. So
Right.
I was like, okay, we're only down 3 points. Matt's foot is solid. So, we could tie this thing up or, even get ahead if we, get into the end zone. So we were still in the game.
Right.
First
Yeah.
quarter, we were very much in this game.
Yeah.
So we're 7-10.
Yeah.
Now let's roll on over to the second quarter.
Yeah, 7-10, like you said, when Luke scored, that was a good play. Actually, that was a good. Finally, one our offense sustained the drive. That was an 8-play, 70 yard, 70 yards that we scored, and
Mhm.
then of course here it comes again, Mr. B. John Robinson. B. John did it to us again, which made it 17-7.
Yep.
We didn't have an answer for Bijan. Bijan can actually, and I always knew this. He was one of my backs that I really raved about prior coming into the draft. I was like, he is a dog. You know, some
He was
people have
breaking
that.
tackles. Come on now. I mean, not only does he run hard and
Yes.
strong, but he was breaking all of our tackles. I mean, our guys did get hands on him,
Too much arm
but
tackling though, Denise.
they
They're not
couldn't
wrapping up.
hold him. I
Right.
was like, come on, guys. Now
Mhm.
you can't let him duck and dodge and bump you and spin his way out right on into the end zone. I mean, it
Right.
was like he just slid right on
Just slid on
through
right.
everybody's tackles.
Slip when wet, wet when slippery. You know, so
Slippery when wet.
slippery.
Yes.
Yeah, all that. You know what I mean? But that's when you do a lot of arm tackling and you have a elusive back such as a B. John Robinson. That's going to happen. You know, his vision and his cuts are just amazing. You know
He's
that
out.
jump step he does. It's like he
Yeah.
can be here 1 minute and then he's like bye bye. You know,
Yeah.
so you have to actually really wrap him up, and that's what we did not do enough of in this game. We actually had when I looked up on Pro Football Focus, we actually had 12 missed tackles that really hurt us for big plays.
Only 12.
Only 12. It
It
seemed
looked
like
like
more,
more
right?
than 12 to
It's
me, but okay,
it seemed
I'll
like
take
more.
their number
Seemed
12.
like more,
Okay.
but it and you know the thing of it though, Denise, is it looked in the field. It kind of felt like the Green Bay game, right? It felt
Yes.
like we were getting beat worse than what we really were, and we
Yep.
actually were still into the game.
We
But
were
like as I,
competitive.
right,
We were competitive. And again, and I'm glad you and I talked about this because our offense did actually put enough points on that board to
27,
win. Okay,
27,
27 is enough to win an NFL game. But
absolutely.
our defense had so many lapses, couldn't tackle. We got penalties that cost us yards.
Yeah.
So, it's like, to your point, we helped the Falcons beat us.
Hmm. Along with no pass rush, you know, um,
Nope.
the thing I don't
No
understand, and
pressure.
no pressure, and as I told you before, if you're not getting any pressure, what that does is put your cornerbacks on an island. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't care how good of a skill set that you have as a corner. If you're not getting no rush and you're out on that island for 6 seconds, 5 seconds, any good wide receiver is going to make a play on you.
right.
But unfortunately, what really disappoints me is when you continuously see a veteran cornerback that we have in Marshawn Lattimore. He's very handsy, which, as I stated
Yes.
before, it kind of reminds me of St. Juice that played with us last year. But I noticed that his lack of fundamentals. Um, Now, maybe in hindsight, that maybe some of the injuries in past have caught up with him. But in years past, that he used to, you threw an out route on him, and he was going to take that to the house. But now that's where they're targeting. They're targeting Lattimore. They're not even going at Trey Amos, and that's
Right.
really disturbing to me. So Lattimore has to play better. Mikey Sanders still has to play better. Um, and it's just I just need to see guys play a lot better.
I need to see them be consistent because now Lattimore made some good plays.
Hmm.
He wasn't consistent. So when it really
What,
mattered, and
what
when
plays
it
he made?
when it
What plays
wait a
did
minute,
you see him make?
I thought he made some good plays. It's just that when it
Where?
really counted, when it they okay. Let me redefine good play.
Uh huh.
Okay, he didn't stop
Dang.
any scores.
Hmm.
Okay. He didn't stop them from getting into the end zone. But I think there were times where he showed some flashes, some glimmers, where
Right.
he could have that. He stayed on his course and had
Hmm.
he kept his energy up and the aggression, I think he could have been more dynamic and he could have stopped some 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 TDs. Um and Ross, what's his name? Roster still
Who? No, Mikey Sanders still.
Sanders
Yeah,
still
Sanders still
Sanders
number 0.
still.
Yeah, Mikey Sanders
He
still.
he made a couple of good plays. But again, it wasn't enough to stop the Falcons from getting into the end zone.
Right, because that's what's the problem with the defense right now. It's like a bend no break. We continue to allow big plays, and you cannot allow explosive big plays. A lot of times, what we were doing, which made me so frustrated, because it could be a 2nd and 16, a 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 5, and our defense could not get their offense off the field. So,
Right.
as we said before, the offense was putting in positions, but the defense was just not getting them off the field. So, it did show this past week that we are old and we
Well,
need some more
Wagner really
Tennessee.
missed a key hit. He really missed a
Well,
key
you
tackle.
you get Bijan in space. No, I don't know too many linebackers that can check up Bijan Robinson. So,
Well, none ours didn't.
right, yeah,
So if
absolutely.
you want to find somebody who can check them, you got to go to the other flavors in the league, because the burgundy and gold didn't have an answer for
Right,
him, and that was regrettable, because he's a good player. He
absolutely.
didn't just become a good player playing us. So I think, in terms of coaching and play calling,
Hmm.
I think our team should have studied up on him better and should have been better prepared for him, and should have been able to try at least a few different, schemes on him, where they could at least be seen as trying and adjusting and making corrections. But he just outplayed us. I
He's a
mean,
dog. You can't stop him. You can try to contain him, but you can't stop him, because he can hurt you in the passing. He can hurt you as a runner. So it's really kind of hard. What you really wanted to kind of force was that for Michael Penix to beat you other ways, and he did. He
he
did. He did with
did.
Drake
I
London.
mean,
So because
yeah,
we wasn't getting that pass rush, had we got the pass rush, got him off his mark. Okay, that's what the Panthers did to him. They
yeah,
kept him where he wasn't comfortable. We allow him to stand back there like the Statue of Liberty. It was
yeah.
like he was like this, like, okay, which one?
He
Oh,
yeah
you
he
not
had
open? Let me go
time.
right here.
He had
So he had
time to run through his progressions. The
absolutely.
receiving core had time to run their routes.
Hmm.
So, it he did not have pressure on him. So Penix was able to get in his groove and do what he needed to do and connect with his receiving core. And it did not bode well for us. So yeah, but we did get a field goal.
Yes, we
Okay.
did. Hmm.
Matt Gay did give us a field goal in the second quarter. So we did come up 10-17. So again, we're still in this game. Okay. Atlanta
Yes, we
didn't
are.
take off and put it out of reach for us at
Yeah,
this juncture.
yeah, we were still in the
So
game up to
yeah,
halftime. We were still in the game. This
yeah.
was a,
So
this was a
we
game that we had for grasping.
yes. And so I remained hopeful. Okay,
Right,
based on the
right.
numbers. I
Hmm.
remained hopeful. So, I was just like, okay, we have to get it together. So we see where we're lapsing.
Hmm.
We see where we're being inconsistent. And
Yes.
so now we have to really tighten up, because in the second quarter, at that point, you're looking at halftime and you only have another half of game to play.
Yeah.
Now, that's a long time if you're going to get right, do right, and be right.
Hmm.
But if you don't make the needed corrections, if you don't make the needed adjustments, then you're just going to give it away.
Right, right. So, like I saw a presser today where DQ was talking about, their struggles with being on the road, and they're starting off slow. And why?
It's
Now,
the same game.
yeah, it's the
It's
same
the
thing.
same
Well,
game.
here's some of the problem though, Denise. That then we got to kind of rewind back, going back to preseason. This new age of the NFL, because you only can allow to practice so much, you only allowed to be able to hit, and that's why I believe we're having a lot of missed tackles, because they can't take them down to the ground like normal. You know what I mean? Like back in the days when they had 2-a-day practices, they did more hitting than anything, but they were battle tested by the time their games came. So that's why we're seeing injuries increase in injuries. If you look around the whole league, it ain't
Yeah.
just on our team like with Terry and Jaden. You look around the league. Look at last night with Tyreek Hill. He dislocated his kneecap, and tore his ACL and other ligaments. We go back. We go to CD Lamb. We can go to many people. Najee Harris, the running back, for the who is Najee play for now? Jesus, I can't even think of. But Najee Harris is even out. So you have Malik Neighbors, Jaden's one of his closest friends. That's a star wide receiver for the New York Giants. He tore his ACL. So I don't know if the NFL at some point needs to look into this.
I think that they should, if
yeah.
since it's going across the league. However,
well,
even with that,
teams need to play their players during preseason. Stop trying to hold them out.
Right. And even with that, though, we do have players who tackle well, who stop other players from getting into the end zone. We just didn't play well.
Right.
we just did not defensively do what we were supposed to do. And we depend on our defense to play aggressively, because that is one of the hallmarks of a good defense. A good defense is an aggressive defense. A good defense is not passive.
Right.
At all.
Aggressive. But don't make penalties as well. You can't. We killing ourselves with penalties.
That's right. So
every time we have positive games, we negate it.
And we have to have our head in the game, because a lot of those penalties were mindless penalties. It just showed a lack of mental control.
Absolutely.
They just had those mental lapses. So those penalties could have been avoided. They should have been avoided. And I hope our coaching staff will either help our players focus better or decentivize.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those penalties come because of fatigue. Like you said, those are mental lapses.
Yeah.
Because
you get paid to play the whole game. So you make too much money to get tired. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And we're in the second quarter. We're only in the second quarter. Right. So, if you're tired in the second quarter and you're making at least a minimum of 6 figures, don't rob us. Take your vitamins and say your prayers, like the late Hulk Hogan said, and get your energy up, but we were still in. We were still in the game. Okay. Yes. At halftime, it was 10-17.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 10 Washington and 17 the Falcons. Yes, it was.
Right. Washington 10, Atlanta 17 going into the half. So we were only down one score. One score. Yep. So we were still in. We were still in the game. So halftime, I'm thinking, okay, the coaches have time to, get with the players and give the, the rah-rah, sis, boom, bah, encouraging speech, the rousing speech to get them all galvanized and stirred up again.
Right.
So I was hoping for better.
Yeah.
I was hoping for better.
Looking for that miracle, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But it still was a game for us to take. Regardless of, like we said, look at the score at halftime of 17-10, well, 10-17, the Falcons. And we still didn't come out second half with no answers for Bijan, because as like in the third quarter, as soon as you came out, Penix hit Bijan Robinson on a 69-yard pass.
Yeah,
we still couldn't stop him, and then Kyle Pitts got into, which is their tight end. So we allowed Bijan he's the engine that makes that team run. Okay.
Yeah.
So by him playing well, and he was able to establish the run and establish the pass, it also opened up for Drake London. It opened up for Kyle Pitts. Even Algier came in.
Algier, and he's a good runner. Absolutely. Against us. Because he was a strong runner, and he was another one that we had problems taking down.
Yeah. Too much arm tackling. We're not hitting. We're not wrapping up. Everybody just hitting with the arm, trying to look for the big play. No, that's fundamentals 101. Our coaches always taught us back in the day. You got to hit and wrap, because some people have good balance and some people are strong. And, but that arm tackling, as you see, it showed. When you have a strong, elusive back as Bijan Robinson, you cannot arm tackle him. You have to put that wood on him,
Yeah, because it wasn't working. It wasn't working. So, but we did get a field goal. Thank you. Thank you, Matt Gay. Even though I
Yeah.
tried to fire you, darling, but you did put some points on the board. So then we were 13-17.
Mm-hmm.
So we were that much closer. So with another score, we had the opportunity to take the lead.
Yeah.
But
Until yeah, we absolutely did one after Gay made that kick. We did. The score didn't change again until Penix threw a nice one to Cal Pitts.
yep,
So.
Pitts made it 13-24.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, wait a minute now. They're moving away from us.
Right.
They're
Right.
building on their lead, because that was the one thing I was kind of grateful to Atlanta for, in
Mm-hmm.
the first two quarters, the first half. They really didn't build on their lead. They got that lead and sat on the lead. So we
Right.
were always, within a score of tying up or taking the lead.
Yeah,
So,
they killed us on time possession. We couldn't.
yeah,
The defense could not get them off the field.
nope.
As much as the offense was doing, I don't care who you are. If you can't get a third and three and out, and you can't get that team off the field, it's going to wear you down. And not only that, time of possession, you're going to lose that battle, in which we
Yeah.
did. We
And
lost
when you
time of
don't
possession.
have time of possession on your side, that is the key ingredient to a loss.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's the track we were on.
Yeah.
We started off trailing.
Mm-hmm.
We continued to trail. We didn't take advantage of opportunities to tie or take the lead. So here Atlanta started building on their lead. And this is
Right.
what the third quarter brought us, because Atlanta already knew they had our number. They
Yeah.
already knew that we had no answer for their ground game. And
Mm-hmm.
their air game, just, those were the finishing touches to kill us. But that ground game is what really, really buried us, because we didn't have an answer for
Right.
it. So that was a consistent way for them to get down the field, knowing we couldn't stop them. So,
Yeah, and once again, I go back to even with the coaches. I one of the things that I kind of get annoyed with is that we're waiting too long to adjust. Cliff Kingsbury, even Joe Witt, they're waiting too long to go in their bag. Like, where is this aggression that we came out as last year? Now I understand last year was last year, but if we're saying we're having a type of identity as a smash mouth team, where's that? Because I haven't seen yet on defense where we're physical as Joe Witt talks. Now I like Joe Witt, but sometimes he comes off of being a little arrogant. Okay, so in his press he come off arrogant, and when you coming off arrogant and you're communicating that to your team, but your team is not putting that on the field. And
right.
that's starting to make him look bad. You have some of your fans, as I'm gonna tell my fans, hold up. It's only a quarter way of the season. I understand that Joe Witt right now is not looking favorable, but people got to take our time. Rome wasn't built overnight, and as I always said, this roster has to get better from bottom up,
Right.
not from top
Right.
to bottom. So it's going to take a couple years with AP and Joe Witt getting those type of players now. But I can say this: these coaches did pick the litter that they have now. They pick these players, so
Yeah.
you have to, as a coach, put your players in the right position so that they can be successful. Once again, put your players in the right position so that they can be successful. That's offense and defense. The strongest part of our team right now is special teams. Special teams is
Exactly.
special teams
Exactly.
is holding us
Special
up.
teams is consistent. And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't show us a good, strong, aggressive defense and then come back the next season and give us a passive defense, because that is regression. That equals losses.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to take us seriously. And all they need to do is run the ball against us.
Well, we thought we fixed that during the summer, during the off season, because we beefed up and we got bigger, Javon, and Kinlaw, and you had Demetrius Wise. So we got bigger. On paper, we look better, but we're not getting the results. And actually, our
Nope.
secondary looks worse.
And we
Uh,
and they're slow. They are
yeah,
slow. They don't have the speed. You got to get to where you're going to make a difference. I
yeah,
mean, when your defense is slow, then the quarterback has time. That's why Penix had time to do the damage that he did, because there was no pressure on him. I mean, our defensive players were getting to where they wanted to go, but it was
Mm-hmm.
too slow and it was after the fact. So once the ball is out of Penix's hands, that's it.
Right. So would you want to see Joe Witt call more stunts for the defensive linemen, so to try to create some manufactured
Yes,
pressure?
because I need him to switch it up. Because look, once
I
a
agree.
team shows us that they have our number, that's the time to switch it up. Because we need to show these teams that they don't know which direction we're going to come at them from. Because even if we start off one way, we will finish up another way.
Right.
And
Keep them
that
off
and that
balance.
lets yes, and that lets us know that they are trying. And one thing that Coach Dan Quinn talked about last week was he was proud of the team's versatility.
Mm-hmm.
And when they showed themselves to be versatile, they
Right.
were more effective. And that goes to the coaches as well with their play calling. You got to be versatile because, if you're limited to, just two or three or four plays, teams can figure that out real quick
Yeah, I
and
agree.
you become ineffective. Now we have had injuries, and that
Whew.
has affected us,
Yeah.
and
But
that
it
has
affects every
challenged us.
NFL team for that
Yeah,
matter. You know what I mean? It affects all.
exactly. But
It's
I'm
next
just
man up.
I'm running through the rationale
Hmm.
of why we got what we got. you
Right.
know but yeah, we've had the injuries to deal with
Right.
that
But no,
has
there's no excuses because
impacted.
it's still next man up.
It's
No
not,
excuses.
and look, and our next men did do good, but again, like I've said before, we play well against bad teams. When we meet a team that is not a horrible team, a
Hmm.
team that is mediocre to good, we tend to get exposed. And so here we are still. And I'm waiting for this team to dispel that perception about themselves because
Hmm.
our team is not going to be taken seriously until we start beating good teams. Now, fortunately for us, we have good teams remaining on our schedule. Uh,
Right.
so we will have opportunities to show that we can be good teams, but we have to do better than we did against the Falcons. We
Yeah.
definitely have to, because the way we played, good teams will build on their lead quickly and they won't take their foot off the pedal. Now
Yeah.
the Atlanta Falcons, they did a whole slow and steady wins the race.
Right.
They seem to pace themselves throughout. They started off with a lead, they did enough to keep the lead, and then they didn't wait until after we got out of halftime to start building on that lead.
Yeah.
So
And
again,
when you're on the road, you cannot allow yourself to be down. You know, it has to be close. You cannot allow yourself to be down and trying to play catch up.
now when we did play catch up, guess who got us more points?
Who?
Mr. Matt Gay. He
Right.
in the third quarter got us a field goal. So we went up 16-24.
Right.
So we were still in. We were still, in this game. We were still being competitive, but we really needed a touchdown
Yeah.
to really say, okay, we're not only still in this game, but we're trying to win it. We're determined to win it.
Well, it was ours to win, but like we said, the defense couldn't stop nobody. It's like
Well,
every time couldn't
you
do
you
nothing.
cannot live off of your kicker's foot.
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
those field
Especially not
goals.
that. Especially not that kicker right there.
Well, but see, once I talked trash about him, he got straight. See, so
Yeah.
he hasn't missed since I tried to fire him. Matt Gay has been 100%
Hmm.
since I tried to fire him. So once I tried to snatch his playbook from him, he started kicking straight. So I have no complaints about Matt Gay because he, with his field goal, that put us up 16,
Hmm.
but we were still trailing Atlanta, who had 24. So we were still, in the game. But that's why I call field goals compensatory prizes. Now I'm going to call it something even better. I'm
Okay.
going to call field goals consolation prizes.
Ah, that's a good
Because
word.
this is what consoles you
Uh-huh.
when
Yeah.
you can't get in that end zone.
End
You
zone.
want
Yeah.
that 6 points in the end zone, but you just can't get there. So you only get in good enough field position to kick a field goal. So that is
Right.
your consolation prize. So we were consoling ourselves because even with the field goals, we were still trailing.
Right. Right.
Consolation prizes.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, the feel of the game was totally different than what the score indicated. The game was actually closer, but
Yes.
it felt like we was getting built to you know what to
Felt like we were getting killed. It
yeah
felt
it felt
like,
like we was getting
they
built
were
to you
just
know
putting
what to
us
win.
all the way in the ground.
Absolutely, because it's like I don't know, like I said, it almost kind of gave me that Green Bay vibe a little bit, just like what are we doing out there,
Yep.
you know?
Like we were just outplayed and
Mm-hmm.
outcoached and we just had no answers. And
Yeah.
it felt very reminiscent of the Green Bay Packers game and especially when the Atlanta Falcons got into that end zone yet again to further increase their lead 31 to our 16.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this is the way we're going.
Yeah, it seemed like that. It just seemed like this was one of the games. Uh, I don't know, I want to give a shout out to our fans because we travel well everywhere we go.
Oh,
So
yes.
shout out to the Washington Commander fans. I heard you very loud and deep at the game, and it was known, and I seen some clippings of how we pretty much showed out there. I wish we could have brought that
Absolutely.
W back home for you guys, but then maybe next time. I think as we come this week against the Los Angeles Chargers. I think we'll show up and show out there as well. And I look forward this week coming up of capitalizing on some of the issues that we had this past week. First of all, we have to tackle better because we're going
Yes.
against another good back this week in the Omarion Hampton. And then if you don't put any pressure on Justin Herbert, we're going to have the same results. So I need to see schematically wise the coaches be able to help the players, and the players have to go out there and make plays. That's what it boils down to because coaches coach and the players play. All I can do is give you the tools, but it's up to you to go out there and to execute. So I think we need to execute better, just come out with more intensity and just be able to, like you said, put our foot on their neck. We cannot start off slow. I've been saying that every week. We must
Yeah.
start off fast. We cannot start off slow.
Well, and then, good news, big news.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Jaden back.
Hey, with a
Jaden
brace on. With a
Daniels
brace
out.
on. With a brace.
Well, that's okay because, Jaden said that he felt good 2 weeks ago.
Right.
He felt good enough to play 2 weeks ago, but of course, he has to defer to the medical professionals
Mm-hmm.
who just cleared him to play for San Diego.
Right. Sometimes you got
So,
to protect the player from himself, and I like that.
yes. Well, yes, exactly. So, yeah, they cleared him to play against these Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's returning to California.
Right.
He says it's home, and he's
Hometown.
happy to return home.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have him back, and I have noticed with the Burgundy and Gold
Mm-hmm.
that when we get a different QB under center, whether it's our starting QB coming back or whether it's our number 2 coming in, our team seems to experience the exuberance of that new car smell.
Right. Yeah.
They have a different QB under center, and then they start playing very well. So I'm hoping that they will continue to do that. And since
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Daniels will be coming back, making his triumphant return, I hope that will translate into a win for the team. I hope they will be galvanized. I hope they will, really be disappointed about this last loss and use that as an incentive to do better and to show and prove
Right.
who they really are. Because
Right.
again, they show us some flashes. They give
Yeah.
us some trappings and trimmings of a really dominant team, but the lack of consistency. So we need to see consistency, and we need to get back to what Dan Quinn was happy to see a couple of weeks ago in the versatility.
Mm-hmm.
So, because when things don't go your way initially, you have to show yourself to be flexible and
Right.
pliable. So you
What?
can try different ways to put yourself in the best position to win.
Absolutely.
So, we ended this game against the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, 27 Washington to 34 Atlanta. So they won. They won in front of their home crowd.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, to your point, it seemed like the lead would have been much, much bigger for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that big a lead,
No,
but it
we
was
were in the
enough.
game.
It was enough for them to win. So they got in the W column. That
Yeah.
was a loss for us. So now we're 2-2, and we're going
Yes.
to go out to California. And Dan Quinn said that they're going to take an extra day
Yeah. To get
to give them
acclimated.
time to practice out there and to give them a chance to get acclimated to the time change, because East Coast versus West Coast, Pacific time versus Eastern time difference, 4 hour
Right.
difference.
Right.
So they're going to get a chance to get acclimated to that environment out west,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants them to be fresh so they can put forth their best effort. So even with the travel planning, I appreciate this organization attempting to put the team in the best position to win.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because it's a long enough flight, and then there's the time change. So giving them an extra day, I think, is a good thing, and I hope that really works to our advantage, along with having our starting QB Jaden Daniels back under center. So
Right. Right.
my hopes
So,
are high, and we
yeah.
shall see. But
Mine's are.
the
Mine's are.
Chargers are a good team.
Yeah,
So,
they're a good team, and they're coming off a bad taste in their mouth last week too. They lost to the New York Giants with Jackson Dart as their new quarterback
yep.
that replaced Russell Wilson. So they're not happy either. Now they also are struggling from the injury bug as well. Khalil Mack is out. Stanley, their tackle, is out, and they have another guard. I don't know his name right off the top, but he's actually hurt as well. So, as we said, this is the game of football. You play with the players that you have available. So with that, they're not feeling sorry for us, and we shouldn't feel sorry for them that they don't have their star
Oh
player.
no,
So
I'm happy about that. Any
yeah,
advantage we can have. I mean, that look, my sympathy only runs for Burgundy and Gold. I don't feel
absolutely.
sorry for any other team. Any other team having problems, especially our opponents,
Yeah.
I take that as a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So
Yeah.
whatever disadvantages they have, we need to use that to our advantage. We need to exploit that, and I'm good with it. As
Yeah.
long as it gives us a better chance to get in that W column, I will take it.
Me too. I'll take it. I don't care if we win by one. I like as we said, this is a homecoming for Jaden. Now I hope he doesn't try to do too much. Just go with the flow of the game and just pretty much Now I do have some realistic expectations because he's been off for the past 2 weeks. There might be a little bit of rust, but I think Cliff can help him by knocking some of that rust off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting the ball, quick plays, getting the ball out of his hands. Also using Debo, not just on jet sweeps. I want to see them use Debo and even Jaden Lane. I want to see them be used in a different, more capacity. Uh, Zach Ertz, he scored this past game. I think
Yeah.
he's going to be very crucial in this game as well because we're going to have to dominate time of possession.
Yes. So we're going to have to
this week.
extend our drives. We can't sit up there and go 3 and out. That is not an option here.
We cannot. That is not an option this week.
And we have weapons. That's the thing. There was once upon a time, our quarterback really had to rely on number 17, Terry McLaurin, to give us some points or to catch the ball down the field. Right. Now, our guys, we have an arsenal of weapons. We do. So I hope Jaden is able to work with them, spread the ball out, but get the ball out of his hands quickly. Because, of course, we don't want to have our quarterback rely on his legs and him down, because that's the recipe for an injury as well.
Well, yeah, he has an added dimension of doing that. That's his superpower. But I agree with you. You don't want to rely.
You don't want to rely on that.
You don't want to rely. You want to get the ball in your playmaker's hand, and that's a problem that I think that we do have, though, Denise. I don't think we have enough playmakers on this team. We have people that can make explosive plays, but not game changers.
Exactly, but they need to be utilized more, and they need to work with the quarterback more to get to that point where they're really gelling well together. And that takes time, that takes experience, and
Yeah,
that's what they're getting now, especially with Jaden coming back.
yeah.
With
Well, look at we blink our eyes. It's week 5 already. It's week 5, so
yep.
and then by week 8 you're gonna really know from every NFL team who they really are.
We're going to
Right?
know who's
No,
who and what's what. Yes.
right. And so as we see this season, even though we have an odd game this year, it's all in quarters. So the first quarter that we played of the season, I give us a, if I had to grade us out, I give us a C, maybe a C minus because it's been too inconsistent. If you look at how we came out last year, this time of year, even though we were the unknown, that team seemed like they were a little bit more hungrier, a little bit
Yeah.
more,
Had more something more to prove.
yeah, something more to prove. And we still have that because now we have a harder schedule. People already said that, oh, that was a fluke. So this team need to utilize that and make that fuel for them. Let's go out here. Hey, we are who we are. Let's go out here and show them. You know what I mean? Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
What happened last year is last year. We got to go out there and prove again.
But yeah, we fans expect our team to take those positives and build on them. We don't want to see regression. Yes, last season was last season, but you showed us you're a playoff team last season. So we're not going to expect anything less. And right now we're sitting at number 2 in the NFC East, number 2 in our division. Yep. So we need to build on all of that. And we shouldn't have to hope to get into the playoffs. We should be a perennial playoff team.
Yeah, ain't no more backing into the playoffs. We should be a team that's, what I'm saying, if we don't win the division right now, which seems kind of a little hard unless they fold up against
the Eagles. The Eagles are.
We need to go in as a wild card and play well. We need to play well. Period. So hopefully it starts this week. That would sound real good. Us going up 3-2, and we're playing against
a good team. Right. See that? I'm telling you, until this burgundy and gold team gets rid of the perception that they can only beat bad teams, everybody's going to look at them with that side eye. There's always going to be that cloud of doubt looming over their heads.
Right.
Can they do it? Are they that good? Or are they, there was last season a fluke, and we don't want to feel like that. We want to think that our team worked hard. They earned every win, and they're still capable of earning those wins again.
Absolutely.
Next game, we shall see, because the next game is going to tell us something about who we are and something about where we're going. It's not going to be the end all be all, but it will be a strong indicator.
Right. I think this team is resilient. I think Dan Quinn, DQ will definitely have them get up for this game. Not only that, it means a lot to Jaden as well. But I think this will send a message to the league to say, hey, don't count us out. We didn't we didn't get blown out last week against Atlanta, but, what happened to us in Green Bay is not who we are. So now is the time. Like we said, we're in week 5 now. So it's no more, we're past that quarter mark. Now we have to start putting it together. We have to start getting better. Right now, like we said, the best phase we're looking is on special teams. Yeah. And now I need the offense to be consistent, and I need this defense to step up. It might not be the best defense. They can be like last year, bend or break, but I need them to be able to get the teams off the field.
They need to be aggressive.
These long drives. Yes.
Our defense needs to be aggressive, and please work on that tackling, because if that tackling is as sloppy,
atrocious,
and then you add on the mental lapses with the penalties that take away our yards and good plays, then so we know what to look for in terms of improvement.
Yes.
We definitely know what to look for. So our offense did put enough points on the board to win, but the defense lapsed, so they couldn't stop Atlanta from getting into the end zone when they needed to. So There is room for improvement. There are more games in the season, so
Yeah.
thank goodness for that.
Right.
And I'm not going to say this game is a must-win game
I was
because
just about to ask you that. I was going to ask you, do you
for
feel
me,
that this
every
game?
game is a must-win game. You can't put it down to one game because you have 17 opportunities in a regular season to show and prove who you are and what you can do.
Right.
Now, when you get to the point where you're looking at the playoffs and whether you're going to be in the playoffs or not, that would be a must win game.
Yeah. Yeah.
The difference between you continuing to play or you going home and going fishing.
Right.
That's a must win game. But
Right.
week 5, I'm not going to say it's a must win, especially when we're at 500 right now. We stand at 500, 2 wins, 2 losses. So,
What,
us being
what,
at 500, we have some wiggle room. We know what adjustments we need to make, and now we can just watch our team, cheer for our team, and hope they make those adjustments to get a win.
right. Right. So I agree with you, but then I somewhat don't, because I agree with you that we are a 500 team, but we have to stack as many wins as possible. It's so hard to win in this league, and look at the Green Bay and Dallas game the other day. Nobody ever expected that to go into a double overtime and
Right.
end it in a tie. So you don't want to look back later on in the season and say, "Doggone it, I could have had we should that Atlanta game or that Chargers game was ours of the making." Look at last year when the Pittsburgh Steelers game, right? That game hurt us. Besides us splitting with Philly, that game could have helped us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't want to. I want to stack them as we come.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a make or break, but I do want to take the
Every
W.
game
I
for
want every
me
W.
is a must win.
Understood.
Every game's a must win. So, I want us to win and I
Yeah.
expect us to win and I cheer for us to win. But sometimes we get different results than, what we hoped for.
Right. So with all of that that transpired in the game, let me ask you this one question. What do you feel? Did you see any positives from this game that you feel like we can build on that can lead us up to the Chargers game? Do you see any positives?
I did. I saw some positives. Like I said, I saw some flashes,
Okay.
from our defense. I saw some flashes, but they were inconsistent.
Right.
Okay.
Hmm.
On our offense, like I said, they were getting into the end zone. They were putting points on the board.
Hmm.
Special teams. Matt Gay is kicking his field goals.
Yes.
Special teams kickoff and punt returns. They're much better, giving us good field position.
Hmm.
So I'm encouraged by that. We just need to be consistent. I think if
Gotcha.
we're consistent, and definitely, I want to see aggression on the part of the defense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the
On both
fundamental.
sides. On both sides. I want to see both sides aggressive.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like let's find our identity. Let's get back to what we were last year.
yeah,
We were resilient. We were a team that was not scared to take any chances. And I just want to see on the offensive side, Cliff Kingsbury dig into his tool bag a little quicker.
yeah.
Let's get some type of rhythm, quick passes, and not just to Debo, because now teams are starting to say, hey, we know he's our Swiss Army knife, but we've been doing all the trickery with him. Sometimes do some of that with Jaden Lane. Jaden Lane has enough speed. Number 83, the rookie from out of Virginia Tech. So we need to start getting a little bit more creative. And then on the defense, I need Joe Witt to be more aggressive. I need some fire zone blitzes. I need some stunts. I need something to create some manufactured pass rush so that you don't have your corners out there on the island for 6 seconds or longer. You know what I mean? You won't have these big explosive plays that Marshawn Lattimore has been giving up or Mikey Sanister has been giving up. Mikey has made some plays, but at times he's getting beat. And we're still getting beat by tight ends.
And we need more speed. We
Yeah, we
need
need
more
more speed.
speed. If
But
we had speed, let me tell you that a lot of those plays could have been pressuring the quarterback. A lot of those plays could have been hands on Penix, where it could have messed up his flow. But we don't have the speed. We were not fast enough to get to where we need to be in
yeah, so
order
we're
to
like, why they
effect.
not blitzing? Why they not blitzing like Louvu? I mean, I
Yeah,
understand teams are double teaming them, but like, get creative. Like, I don't know, move them around. We need to
exactly.
put people in the best position to make plays. And I'm tired of hearing our coaching staff talk about it. I want to see that. You
Yeah.
know what you got, because at the end of the day, when you pick this 53-man roster on both sides of the ball, you chose these people. So you know
Right.
them better in and out than anybody else. So put them in the best position to win.
Well, see, then
Simple and simple.
that takes some flexibility on the part of our coaches.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that, another area of improvement that we'd like to see that would, yield us some positive
Right.
results. So yeah, so we've diagnosed the situation.
Yeah, we got a lot of ball left. So I'm not panicking.
Right,
I'm not being frantic. I do have concerns that's starting to become a little concerns with the penalties. Of course, injuries, that's part of the game.
right.
But just
Well,
us
we're coming
identifying,
back from that. We're bouncing back from that right now.
yeah.
So, we took
Just
our hits from that and we're
yeah, hopefully
starting
it
to
won't take
bounce
no
back.
more. Hopefully it won't take no more. We don't need no
Yeah,
more.
yeah. But like you
We,
said, it's a next man up league.
you're
So,
supposed to. Yeah, supposed to. In
we're
theory, it's
supposed to
supposed to,
be.
but you next man up needs to be next man up. Like I said before, it seems like from our ones to our twos, there are drop offs, and it should not be no drop off.
Right.
You
There
know,
shouldn't be a drop off.
when you see your good teams that's been good for a substantial amount of period, you notice that they have sometimes their backups do better than their starters,
Because
and
they want
that's
the
what
job.
because they're
They
hungry.
have to want the job. Like you said,
Absolutely.
the
Hmm.
hunger has to be there.
Yeah.
So they got
Yeah.
to get
You have to have
hungry.
that mentality. Like once I get in this game, you're not getting back in.
Exactly. I'm taking your spot. It's mine
Absolutely.
now. And just like Coach Quinn said, whoever is on that field, that's their spot. So the gentlemen have to play like that is their spot and like they wanted to continue to be
Yeah, you
their
got to earn to
spot.
keep it. Earn to keep it. You got to earn. You got to earn your keeps. Just like they say on third down, you got to be able to have that right to be able to rush the passer. Well, I feel the same way. If you get in that game, I know if that was me, if I was in the game and I was not the starter, I'm gonna bust my behind because I'm gonna say, I want to show the coaches. I want to first and foremost, you want to gain the trust of your teammates, because when
Right.
you have your teammates feel like they can trust you, trust don't mean just like, oh, you're going to be there. Trust is knowing that you know your assignments, that you also know how to making adjustments as well. So
Right.
we have to. I don't know. I just I get so perplexed sometimes, Denise, when I think and I said this is not hard. Sometimes you can make things harder than what they are, and maybe on the defensive side, maybe Joe Witt needs to dummy down some of his stuff.
Well, they
Maybe
did
some of the
talk about that.
right, maybe some
They did
things are
talk
too
about
simplistic.
that. And here's here's the thing. Whatever you need to do in order to yield the desired results
Mm-hmm.
is what you have to do. So if you have to dummy things down in order for your players, to be able to execute, then that's what you need to do. Although I personally would not use that type of language
Mm-hmm.
because I would want my men to think of themselves and be viewed by others as professionals who are proficient
Mm-hmm.
and who specialize in their position.
So
So
do you see Joe Wick coming off as being very arrogant and don't
yeah,
live up to it to up to well, he talks the talk, but yet I have not seen the results how he talks. So
He's
the
he
defense is
he does talk the talk, and as a matter of fact, in his last presser, he actually did apologize
yeah, because
to
he was
one of
wrong. He
the
was wrong. He was
reporters.
snappy for no reason.
Yeah.
The reporter's just doing his job. I understand. He kind of has the Belichick type of attitude, and I'm okay with that. But
Well,
I
you
need to
know
see
what? If you're going
results.
to have a Belichick attitude, you better have a Belichick record, and he
Right.
doesn't
That's
have
what
a
I'm saying.
Belichick win-loss record, so that is unjustified. But he
Right.
did apologize, for being as he admitted, being a bit of a jerk.
Yeah. He
So
was. He was being a jerk. He was.
yeah. And
Yeah.
he did acknowledge it, and he did come off this week in his presser being a bit more grounded, and being a bit more self-aware,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how it is when you're coming off of a loss. Because I mean, but we went through a lot of that with former head coach Ron Rivera. He used to, just run all up beside the
Right.
head
Right.
of
Right.
the
Yeah.
press, and he used to really give it to them and talk his talk and have his lectures and all that. So the media is kind of used to all of that. They know how to deal with that. But yeah, if you're going to talk the talk, you
You gotta
have to
walk that
walk
walk.
the walk.
You gotta walk that
And
walk.
The win-loss record does not cover any arrogance at this point. You've played 4 games, you're at 500, and at this juncture, at this point, you still don't beat good teams.
Yeah.
So who can't beat losing teams? Everybody can beat losing teams. That's why they're there. The bottom feeders. So there's no award for beating bottom feeders. Nobody's going to raise an eyebrow because you can beat teams who are sorry.
Right.
So, but we have time and we have opportunities to change that, to turn that perception around and show who we are and what we're capable of doing. So I remain hopeful. But yeah, I'm looking very intently at how our team performs against these Chargers, because
it's gonna be tough.
It will show us a lot.
It will show us who we are. It will show us who we are, and
or who we don't need to be if we lose. It'll show us who we don't need to be, who we cannot afford to be. So yeah.
See, I mean, because if you look at our schedule for the next 3 weeks now, even the Chicago Bears are playing a lot better. Caleb Williams is playing better.
Yeah.
So after this San Diego game, we have the Chargers here on a Monday night game. And then the following week after that, we have the Dallas Cowboys over in Texas. So it doesn't get any easier. You know what I mean? So, and as I tell everybody, there's no such thing as a triangle theory. Just because one team beat another team does not mean your team is going to.
Yeah, just because the Giants beat that doesn't mean we can do it. So
Well, we saw that this past week. We thought, look what Carolina did, 30-0.
Yeah.
We're a better team than Carolina, but that shows you that
doesn't translate.
It doesn't translate to
any given Sunday. Any team can beat the other team. So
yes, you're right. You're so right on that, and that's the part that people need to understand. And, so last week is last week, what I mean? This is a whole new week. And I just want to see us, go up to Cali, which is a 4:25 game for people out there that didn't know that.
4-hour time difference. So, yes, it's going to be late in the afternoon for us.
Yep. Yes. And it's a Fox game. It's not on CBS. It's on Fox. So, we got to be able to, as fans, continue to support our team when better as far as winning or losing, continue to support them. Hopefully it turns around. We think it's going to turn around because we do have a good coaching staff, but at the end of the day, the game still has to be played on the field. So I can hope and wish all I want to, but I just hope that we go out there and show effort and show some energy and and don't get out coached.
Yeah, we have to execute.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And with that, I will say that this will wrap it up for our week 4 recap of our Commanders going out to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. It was not successful, but hey, it is what it is. And we look forward to next week. And we truly, truly appreciate you viewers taking your time to watch our content. We appreciate you supporting our channel. And don't forget to please do us a great favor, like, comment, and subscribe. And look, give us your comments. Give us your thoughts. You can agree with me or disagree with me. You can agree with D Nice or disagree with D Nice. You can have some insights of your own. Tell us what you expect this team to do. Tell us what you're looking forward to, or tell us the things that you don't like. We want to hear all of that.
Right.
So please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out when we drop new content.
Select all so you don't miss it.
Yes, select all. So when you hit that bell, select all. And that way you will get notifications as soon as we put up new content. So D Nice, what would you like to encourage us to do?
Well, I'm always going to say, until the next time, my friends, love somebody and hug somebody. And that's all we have from Two of a Kind Sports. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Hail. That's right. Raise hail.